We're moving to a small town just outside of Lisbon in Portugal. And I guess the most positive motivation is that my husband and I have reached an age where we think we have one more adventure left in us. And it seemed more exciting and challenging to go somewhere new than to last out our final years in a place that we've become, if anything, too comfortable in.
It's because you're too comfortable or because you've become uncomfortable in Britain?
Well, it's a combination. I am distressed with what's happening to Britain, and first off, I should tell you that the idea of leaving here really tears me up. I've been here the vast majority of my adult life. My feelings about the country are strong, though that also means that my criticisms of the country are strong. So, you're right that I've been up to my neck in the culture wars here, but I also get a little sick of it. And I am despairing on Britain's account that the country seems to have adopted the conflicts of another country, mine.
The United States.
Right? So all this, what we call woke, for lack of a better word, I know we're all sick of it, it comes from somewhere else. And I think that's undignified, and honestly.
Okay.
Come up with your own screwed up ideology.
That's quite damning, that somebody who comes from the United States, has lived in other parts of the world, in Africa and so on, and transparently likes this country, loves it, is now saying, can't you even get your own crazy ideology right? Let's come back to that in a moment. I wanted to ask you, because it's a politics show, one of the things that you talk a lot about, or you write a lot about, is the power and reach of the state and government. We're saying this morning that Mr. Sunak wants to essentially, or it is said, wants to stop people smoking even in the outdoors. And obviously, it's healthy, it stops people smoking in other people's faces. How do you feel about that? Healthy policy or nanny state?
Heavy-handed nanny state. Not a very nice nanny. This comes down to one of my biggest problems with the direction of travel in the UK. And that is, it's become increasingly authoritarian, rather than bringing the people along with and trying to go in a certain direction by persuasion, by leading people, and giving people positive reasons to do things. This has become a very authoritarian regime which tries to manipulate through punishment.
Well, let me push back on that. You and I have discussed this in other contexts, but you say it's an authoritarian state, but you've written a lot about, for example, the cancel culture. And isn't the problem there that maybe some of our institutions, our media, our universities and so on, aren't authoritarian enough that the grown-ups, when confronted with, a demonstration that says this person must not speak here, and you've had this experience yourself, basically cower in the corner or back out of the room, that actually they're not strong enough?
Well, I certainly think there's been a failure on an institutional level to stand up to the ideology that we're talking about, that I have been opposing for years. So yes, you're right that there's a kind of capitulation or selling out to a particular element, often out of fear. But on a governmental level, legislation is being designed in a very punitive direction, the way net zero is being pursued. The energy bill that passed without any real deliberation most recently has all kinds of powers in it to basically break into your house with the police and force you to get a smart meter. They connect and with the power to put you in jail for up to a year if you don't comply with the new environmental regulations. And these are just householders. We're not talking about people who run companies or something. This is the way things are done. And
we're a long way from Putin or anything, aren't we?
Of course not. But I would like to see a little more contrast. I mean, the thing that really damaged my emotional relationship to this country was COVID. And it demonstrated, I mean, literally overnight, that this country would capitulate to what became a quasi-totalitarian regime. Again, no persuasion, no, we can all be sensible here, no advice, no, more rules.
That is quite an extreme, even for a brilliant writer, quite an extreme proposition. We are not a totalitarian regime, nowhere like it.
No, but overnight, Britons gave up virtually every civil liberty that they ever imagined was their
for the common good.
Ostensibly, but you could have had the same results without that kind of top-down, police arresting people walking in the forest.
One of the things that you've written about recently, which is about the state's responsibilities and so on, is the issue of what you called heritable guilt, inherited guilt, and the case in point is slavery reparations. And your basic case is, how can you make people who live today responsible for something that happened centuries back? Is it really as simple as that?
Morally, yeah, I think it is. It's in the Bible that that the son is not to inherit the guilt of the father. That used to be a fundamental Christian principle, and I think that we've lost it. We now think that we are responsible for everything our ancestors ever did, and between slavery and the Industrial Revolution, with its unintended consequences of CO2. No, we have to draw a line. We didn't make those decisions. It's hard enough to take responsibility for the things you do in the present.
I wish we could talk much more, and I hope, actually, you'll be coming back to us from Portugal from time to time.
Indeed.
And we'll see you on the show again.
I hope so.
Lionel Shriver, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure to talk to you, Trevor.